When they're both healthy, Woll and Stolarz are one of the best tandems in the NHL, but they're rarely both healthy at the same time recently. Not ideal, but there may be an upside. Bruce, the Leafs wanted a true number one, but injuries mean they've split their starts. Here's the question. If you were running their bench, would you consider continuing to split Woll and Stolarz starts even when they are both healthy?
I'd look at everything. I mean, I would consider it for sure, because if that's the way they were going during the course of the season and they seemed comfortable with it, I would consider it. But my big thing is listen, whoever you start, and if he plays great the next night or great the first game, I would probably start him the next game. And I've had a couple different situations like that in the playoffs. I mean, I too, like when we were in Anaheim and we went to the conference finals, we had two great goaltenders. We had John Gibson, we had Freddie Anderson. And when one of them wasn't playing well, or if they missed a couple games and they didn't play good, then we just put in the other guy, and I wouldn't feel different. But if the guy was hot, and we'd keep him in. And it was like the year before, Gibson started the first two games, we lost, and then we switched to Freddie, and he won the next three. So, I mean, it's as long as you've got an open mind, and sometimes you just sit there and you go, okay, this guy is starting, and we're going to use him, and then you're stubborn and you keep using them. I think that's a problem. If you've got two good goalies and you think you can play one, and if he struggles, play the other one the next day, and all the players have the same amount of confidence, let's go with that. I mean, I've got tons of stories about it. We started Theodore the first two games against the Rangers one series. He lost them both, and so we put Varlamov in, and he won the next 4 out of the next 5. So I mean, it's you got to be open-minded as a coach and not be too stubborn to think that you can't use both goalies if you have a pair that you think are really pretty well on the same page and pretty well as good as each other. Don't just keep throwing the one guy at you all the time. I think that could be a mistake.
Okay, you used the word, so let me throw them back at you. Stubborn versus open-minded. Here's the question for you, though, Coach. In today's modern NHL, gone are the days of Marty Brodeur where he plays every game in the regular season, then the playoffs. In today's NHL, every coach will tell you, you got to platoon because you can't give one guy too many starts, he'll get exhausted. That works great during the regular season, but then it's the old ways in the playoffs where you say, no, we got to have a number one guy in the playoffs. Why? Why, if platooning works in the regular season, why can't you stick with it in the playoffs?
Well, if platooning is working through the regular season, it's because you got two equal goalies. Like, I mean, there's places like let's use Winnipeg as an example. You're going to play Hellebuyck all the time because he's clearly the better goalie. You got Wolls and you've got Stolarz in Toronto. They're pretty equal. They've both had their shots at being great before they got injured, and they've both succeeded at that. So, I mean, if you sit there and you want to be stubborn about it, then you're going to, and the one goalie has a bad game and you still come back with him, then I don't think that's the right way, because you've been platooning all winter long here. Like, I mean, but it could backfire on you. It backfired on Boston when they went with Ullmark the whole series a couple of years ago. But I mean, I'm the kind of guy that I listen to what the game is like. I mean, and if that game goes good, and then I'm going to start the same guy. If he had 42 saves the one night and he's ready to go the next night, and there's no back-to-backs these days. So, I mean, it should be well rested. But at the same time, I have the confidence in the other guy, and this guy has a bad game. Boom, the switch is flipped pretty quickly, and I'm going to the other guy.
The balance between these two guys is pretty incredible when they're healthy. The Leafs are currently the only team in the league with two goalies in the league's top 10 in goals against. Stolarz tied for second, and Woll at 9th.